Good morning, everyone. Today, I would like to give you a presentation about combining Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. And I would like to start with a situation. Like, imagine you are going home every day from university or from your work, and every day everything is the same. You have the same physical and mental parameters, but one day something happened. You're running, you're in a fighting mode, your pressure is very high, and probably you're being followed. And nowadays, it's possible already to have this kind of wearables which can understand that something is wrong with you, which can analyze different parameters, find unusual patterns in your behavior, and notify, for example, in this situation, closest police station, or inform the devices of other users which is around you, because it would be cool to have it. So, combining Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. This topic came up because during last year we understand that artificial intelligence is functionally necessary to bring lots of sensors online to analyze this data, and it will be definitely even more and more important during the time while we have so much collection tasks in IoT. So that's why you can see that this title, that in my opinion, and in some years we will have, or we're already in this epoch of new industrial revolution in our houses and universe. This talk is more an inspirational talk to show you what real use cases are already implemented in Germany, as I'm from Germany, and because when we usually talk about IoT or AI, it's mostly these two words both connect to fiction, you know. So in my talk today, I would like to prove that it's not a fiction anymore; it's our reality. So, my name is Karina Popova, as you can see, and I'm a developer evangelist in the company based in Germany. I'm also part of Women in Tech community, global in Europe. And my primary topics is IoT and AI. That's why I would like to share with you my knowledge today. And yeah, this is my Twitter handle. Please tweet the pictures and yeah. So, let's start. I think, first of all, when we start any discussion, it would be nice to find out what motivates people to use IoT and then AI together. And I usually like this example of quantified self. It's a term which actually gives us a basic explanation why do we need to collect all this data. Usually it's a self-knowledge through self-tracking via technology. And actually it's what bothers us every day. Not only us, but also previous generations, like our parents and grandparents, we all the time wanted to know, do we live a good life? How can we save our free time? And it's based on we try to analyze different inputs, like our food consumptions or quality of the air around. We also analyze different states and performances, physical or mental. Maybe you know there are some applications right now. For example, I have one on my phone which every week analyzes my behavior and tells me if I'm in depression or not. And sometimes when I receive this pop-up saying, looks like last week you didn't have a depression, I really feel good about it. So it's kind of already all around us. And information technologies nowadays is driving the transformation from old-fashioned infrastructure and systems to a highly available, highly intelligent application and services. Yeah, so predictions for 2020 promise us lots of connected devices per person, tons of data to process per second. And at that moment, we are not including connected cats and dogs, which also will be a thing, because even nowadays, people try to track their animals and understand their life. And how all this data will become actionable. At some point, Internet of Things will become the biggest source of data on the planet. And IoT yeah, you see? Fortunately, I can't see it on the screen. IoT can let the machines point out where the opportunity truly are. And because we all know that data is most valuable for us when it's real time, collected in real time, and when we can perform action immediately. That means that data must be collected and stored and are analyzed almost immediately to maintain a continuous flow of information. And in order to analyze all this data immediately, we will need an artificial intelligence on top. Because, however, nowadays there are still different challenges and problems in IoT, especially how to perform this data. So let's talk about artificial intelligence. Nowadays, it's already reached a point when it can perform invaluable assistance in speeding up different tasks which were performed by human. And once computer can fully simulate a human brain, it will kind of cause an intellectual explosion, which means that the progress of innovation will be exponentially, and artificial intelligence will certainly go beyond self-driving cars and airplanes. So how exactly the world will function when we will combine IoT and artificial intelligence? Lots of people at this moment think about that. Of course, artificial intelligence can, at some moment, develop consciousness, and we saw it in different movies. I think lots of you hopefully remember Sad Marvin, who was very smart, but was still sad that he needs to open a door for people. Or Matt Hall, who got mad and wanted to kill everyone. But this is all what people think about artificial intelligence in general, and I'm trying to show you today use cases where we can understand that it can definitely bring us a positive result, that it's not so scary. And this is one of the statements which I like, that IoT just won't work without artificial intelligence. Because IoT producing a big chaos data, and to be able to find needles in this, and to find the relevant information, we will need to use artificial intelligence. Because as we know, big data by itself means nothing. We need to find the relevant data. And every large corporation tries to collect as much data as possible about their customers. And to target the right person, to sell him the right product, it would be very important to find relevant information about this person. To show why IoT will not work without artificial intelligence, we can just look at a functional view of IoT. And we can see that first we need to create data. For these purposes, we use different sensors. We also need a communication. So this is a connectivity, IoT connectivity solutions. Then we need to aggregate data, to analyze it, and to act on it. And especially at this moment when we need to analyze information, process it, and act on it. This is where artificial intelligence will help us. So of course we have some different challenges, and especially as from developers' point of view. So first of all, we need to enable the machines to send data and to be connected in real time. We also need to go beyond single models, which means to understand the huge amount of data. And we also need to enable developers to create services that can adapt to their users. And actually, in the company where I work, that's what we're trying to do. And in some examples, you will see that these challenges, one of the main challenges is just this second one, to understand the data. And so when we go back to our new industrial revolution, it's necessary to say that all objects that surround us is kind of a community of information. And sensors turn billions of devices into data-generating things, and which can communicate with the environment and also sometimes interact with the environment. And IoT devices can connect in different ways, we know, and nowadays to create an IoT device, you basically just need, you can do it very easily, have Arduino, Raspberry Pi, and any connectivity as Wi-Fi or GSM. In the case of a company where I work, we provide GSM connectivity with the SIM cards. But all these examples, and given the ubiquity of IoT solutions, we actually can achieve an unbelievable level of coverage of any event in space and time, which brings us on a new level. And connectivity and artificial intelligence is becoming an integral part of IoT, especially in a time-critical services when we need to react immediately. And right now, as you know, it's kind of an extremely compelling project topics when you combine IoT and AI. And as IoT developers, or who wants to implement artificial intelligence on top of it, we experience difficulties to achieve flexible, secure, and global connectivity solution and connect all devices. It goes because of such high of integration efforts, different APIs, different devices, and network configurations. It's also quite complex and difficult to understand the security policies in each country where your IoT device will be located. So back to these challenges. There are lots of already solutions which can work in any country and provide the security level, and I'm happy to discuss it after. But what I want to show you in the following use cases is how we will understand the data and work with it. So one of the example, IoT use cases can be very different. For example, one of the companies, they want to track polar bears in Arctic. So it means that IoT device should follow many standards, like it should be resistance to cold temperature and water environment, high humidity, for example. So, but they can monitor everything what's going with IoT device nowadays in real time. This is one of our portal which we created, and the device is attached to different networks because there is a SIM card inside, and you can in real time get all the data and understand how much data was used by device, how much it costs for you, and it's very easy, it's real time, and for developers it's very interesting to play with it. And so these solutions, we got some awards in the last year, and that's why we were quite confident that we can present you all showcases where it was implemented. And so IoT devices are basically all around us. You can already meet it in payment terminals, fleet management, smart metering, also smart home, medical devices. So I will start with the medical sector. Applications of artificial intelligence to medicine have been increased recently a lot, because artificial intelligence can actually help you to understand, to point out the right diagnosis for the people, or to, and it's quite reliable. And there is always another example that imagine you are 82, you're feeling quite well, but of course you already have problems with your health. And your relatives worried about you and they would want you rather move to assisted special accommodation, then you will stay by yourself at home, but you still want to continue your life. And this is actually why all these wearables now is so popular, because just with one wearables, you can monitor the pulse, heartbeat, everything. And when any figure reaches a critical state, it will be your doctors or relatives, they will be immediately informed. Or if it's if you fall or something, it will be immediate. Ambulance next to you will be immediately informed. And so together with new technologies, we are able to have an independent life much longer, and I hope in our future we will use this. And we were part of this showcase because we create one of these wearables, and on GitHub you can find all information about how that it's not so hard to do this by yourself. Actually, it took us about a week to create the device together with the code. And these wearables can stay with you and learn day by day your behavior. And I think in the future it will be a part of our daily lives that everyone will have. Nowadays we call it fitness trackers, but they will definitely move on a new level. The next example is alarm system providers. So it's one of the biggest changes which IoT brought to us is that we can monitor our house being completely 10,000 kilometers away from it. It also can help you to get the information if something in your house was removed. For example, if someone entered your house and took your TV, for example, you immediately can get a message, and it can be, this system can tell you almost about any object in your home. And we even have this example that in the big office buildings, they put these sensors on the chairs, that whenever someone moves a chair, you can immediately understand where is it. And for example, bring it to another room, much easier to find if it's a huge office building. And so the possibilities are endless, and it's a really low-cost solutions, and takes not so much time to set up it. But when there is also another possibility, when you have artificial intelligence on top, you don't need to monitor your house anymore because it can do it for you. It can, for example, access cameras and understand, based on face recognition, if someone who is inside your home, is it your relatives or you, or if not, it will immediately trigger a call to police. And at the same time, when we have these systems in different houses and areas, based on all data, it can predict the areas with the highest crime rate and help the police to control these areas much better and to prevent any criminal incident. And then the next example is retail stores. Nowadays, retail stores spend lots of time and money on a kind of a prediction services for the products. All these smart shelves is still very expensive for some retail chains to have, but when you look at through a long-term period, it's very effective because it can immediately tell you what type of goods do you need to have in your store next week, what expired products right now here, and what do you need, if you need to decrease the price on it. And you can also at the same time target only specific clients who live in this area and send them messages saying, in the store 100 meters from your house, today is this sale. So it's all together brings our life to a next level. And also they use artificial intelligence for maintaining the equipment in retail stores, because a big retail chains, they usually have about 2,000-4,000 stores in a country, and it's very hard to understand where the problems are. But with a prediction system, it is much easier for them and much efficient. The next example, what we will talk, it's let's call it smart transportation or smart logistics, because car rentals, delivery services, and companies who is close to fleet management, they spend lots of money on trying to optimize the roads and delivery time, and it's very hard for them to track the location, mileage, fuel consumption, and nowadays they have these systems which they can put to any car and understand where is the car, what is the state of the car. They're also able to, with artificial intelligence, they're able to optimize the road. And one of the cool thing, which I personally really like, nowadays they have kind of a gamification for drivers. So each driver, after he finished his road, he received a message saying what is his score in efficiency, how safe he was driving, and which road he chose. So after this, it helps companies to save money because drivers start driving much efficient, and it also decreases accidents because it's much more safe because driver puts more attention on his driving style. And yes, let's move to a smart home. And like artificial intelligence is a pure example of artificial intelligence will be that a moment when your washing machine will tell your dryer that what type of load to expect, what time they will finish, and which program the dryer should use. So it's saving time and energy consumptions in your home, and it's not new that smart home devices can track the state of your home. But I also have lots of friends, developers, who kind of enabled the things inside their home to tweet about their state, which is kind of funny, but it's one of the steps when things can communicate between each other. And at the end, what we will have that artificial intelligence helps to analyze everything what you have at home and give you a free time, so which you can spend on much more useful things, and you will be free for better activities. Besides of this, of course, you can also analyze the temperature inside your house, the quality of the air, and how many people right now, and it all helps to make the space work more efficient. The next example is actually one of my favorite examples, because I think that understanding the natural intelligence is the most systematic way of developing IoT, because even one-cell organism on our planet usually do the right thing at the right time in order to survive. And maybe not humans, but all other animals, this is how they survive. And United Nations predict that in 2100, we will have 11 billion of people, and all of these people have to be fed. And in addition, unsustainable farming is one of the main things which have a huge negative impact on our environment. So we have to do farming very smart, but at the same time decrease pollution. And already nowadays, as you can see on this picture, there is in some countries a testing period when they use drones to analyze the surface to see how is there any water deficit or nutrition deficit, and they will transfers this information immediately to a farmer's software, which will help to enable the right, precise farming. And they also not even only analyze, these drones can bring some insects from one field to another field if it's needed. And there are special infrared cameras, and which makes all this pest control more efficient and more precise. But at the same time, there are lots of challenges, because as we know in farming, not so many farmers willing to spend lots of money for new technologies, because it's not their main goal. And also there are lots of problems with Greenpeace, because they think that its technology affects nature, and as a human we can decide that I would like to have a wearable, but if you put it on animal, they cannot tell you do they want it or not. And it's also, if you're bringing some insects from one field to another, it's can damage the natural balance in this area. So there are lots of questions in this topic, but I believe that we have to focus on precision farming and maybe support farmers with some government investments, because it really will affect our future life. And there are lots of other examples, and it's very easy to be part of this. So what I wanted to tell in my talk is that I want to inspire people to learn a bit more about this, and because many IoT projects, they are part of donation projects, especially, for example, last year we support a project where a guy was traveling from Munich to Vienna on the river on his stand-up paddling boat. And in real time you can see his movements, which were done by a GPS tracker, but at the same time there were an artificial intelligence which could analyze based on social activities where is the best time for him to stop and have a nap, or what is the weather forecast, and if he should continue or not. And people can follow him online and donate money, because it was a 12-day journey. And we collected lots of money and to preserve this area, to help it. And so it's very easy to be part of any project. And when I talk to developers, I usually say that in my opinion, every time when we develop an application, we mostly focus on increasing communication between things or between people. And at the same time, we're trying to increase the quality of our life. This is the main point. And the possibilities that AI and IoT offers us, they're endless, and it's not, they're definitely so popular because we can do lots of stuff with them. Like during last 2 years, it's one of the most popular technologies. And, but IoT collects this data, and that's, I think, one of the engines for AI, because this is how we can understand why do we need AI to analyze this data. And because this data hold extremely valuable results, which can show us what we really will use in the future and what we need in our life. And so actually I expect the main result of this presentation is that some of you at the evening will read some articles about, maybe go to our GitHub account and learn that it's very simple to start with IoT and bring AI on top. And yeah, that all of this will help us to translate our actions into more valuable results for our society and for individuals, that we should care not about us and about general, but also about general well-being organism and about society in a whole. And if you remember my first example, when we've been followed by someone, it's not bad to have these devices. with us. And the moment when I'm on a medical IT conferences, which is I highly recommend to everyone to visit, you can see how many lives these new IoT wearables together with artificial intelligence saved. And it inspires you even more to work in this field. And I hope that some of you will learn more. There is a very nice resource called IoT Agenda, where you can read more about this. I'm also one of the writers for this online resource. And yes, I think I will finish on this. So you can get in touch with me anytime. Here you can find my information. And yeah, thank you very much for your kind attention and attending my presentation today. If you have any questions, I'm happy to discuss with you some points if someone is interested. Yeah? Yeah. Yes.
Do you have such a solution that will help me to learn my habits at my home, so I can, for example, tell to the system that I would like to have a little lower temperature because today this is better for me, and for the next time, system will recognize that it should be lower temperature in my home.
Yes, it's already existing stuff. There is lots of companies who produce smart home devices, and they are learning from you. And they measure at what temperature you would like to. You usually decrease when you increase the temperature. And based on this, they already behave, they predict how to behave. And with the time, they promise that you will touch the device less and less because the device will do everything by itself. Yes.
Do you know any spectacular fails in using IoT technology?
What do you mean?
Fails like some solution was implemented and there was a great fail about it. So it caused the bad consequences.
Yeah, I mean, even we as a company will receive lots of requests saying we need a tracker which will track our employees, where they are. If the company has lots of offices around the globe, they want to track personally each employee. And then we say, unfortunately, it's against human rights and we're not able to do this. But I think they will still find a way how to develop these applications. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, security.
Thanks. Things like these heart monitors or health monitors for elderly people. Well, we can ask a cruel question, what will expire first? Whether the users or the firmware update support for things like that.
Yeah, but it of course will need a continuous maintenance of these devices. But
precisely, that's the problem I see here. Is it any policy implemented about?
Yeah, so with in medical industry, every wearable should have a certificate, which means that it can be attached to a human. If the company doesn't have this certificate, they will never be able to go to market and sell this product. And in the whole Europe, there is only 2 companies, one in Germany and one in Spain, who provide the certificates. And it's really hard to get. And I think the one who gets it, they really follow and think about all these security rules. Also in the case which we produced, we used a SIM card and it was possible to establish a VPN tunnel, and we had lots of security. The SIM card can have only a static IP address, so you can restrict who can connect to this device. So we also try to bring it to a new level, even if it's a simple thing. Anyone else? We still have time. Okay. But I'm here the whole day, and you can ping me in Twitter also, so I'm happy to talk to you. Thank you very much.